Hey, Christina, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's so great to have you. So how are you going? How is lockdown going?
I flew out of London. Normally, as you know, I'm based in London. But when the state of emergency was declared on Friday the 13th in March, I realized that maybe I should go home if the borders are going to close, which they never actually fully have. But we didn't know what coronavirus and COVID-19 really was at that point fully. So I got on a plane in 2 days and flew home to San Francisco, where my family is. And as you know, I have an older sister with her family and two girls, and then my parents, and then also my younger sister, Kate, who's disabled, who I've written my solo show about. And for me, it just really came down to I don't want to be an ocean away and a plane ride away if the worst happens, if the worst case scenario happens, if they get sick.
I guess, that movement of you going from London
Mm-hmm.
home,
Mm-hmm.
how was that for you? And did you have to search for yourself and kind of go, okay, where am I? Who am I? Why am I going home? Or was it just a I'm going home moment?
I mean, I think it's been both. I think it was definitely like the action of it had to be decided so quickly. And I know a lot of international artists had to decide very quickly, like,
Mm.
okay, this is like a nuclear bomb going off. Where's the bomb shelter? Is it where I'm at right now, or is it at home with my family in another country or
Mm.
in another city? So on the one hand, it was a very quick, clear decision. Even though my family was kind of like, don't come, you can't quarantine with us. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna like don't bring it.
And
But
it's interesting because so I like as you said, I've got a sister with Down syndrome, and as soon as we found out London was going into lockdown and I heard Sydney was going into lockdown,
yeah,
I had about 3 days to decide, am I going back? What am I
right,
doing? With
right.
my partner who is British. And it was a tough decision. I had the conversations with my family probably twice a day for a good hour each time, being like,
Yeah,
look, if shit hits the fan,
right,
where am I? Like, I may not be able to
right,
get on a
right.
plane.
And what are my options? Right, right.
Yeah.
And Australia,
Um,
I mean, fully closed its borders.
yeah, so Australia has still closed. I can't get back. And no one can leave. So we're locked down, which is mad. And I've been really fortunate, and nothing has happened so far, touch wood.
Yeah,
But it was a decision. But I had to make that decision of not going back, because I would have to have been in my parents' house. I would have had to have quarantined, and that wasn't the right decision. And me and my partner decided we were going to stay in London and support from afar,
yeah,
and go back when we are able to properly go back and support the family when that
yeah,
needs to happen.
yeah.
But that was one of the hardest decisions. And I do think, and I wonder if you feel the same, but coming from that, a family where a sibling has a disability,
Yeah.
I think we understand crisis in a very different way to
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And it's something, with performing my solo show 45 times and talking to 45 different audiences,
Wow.
um, and talking to parents and siblings with disabilities, with siblings with disabilities. I learned a lot about our community, and I still have so much more to learn. But it was really this identifier that we have so much practice in handling crises, because when you have anyone, whether it's an aging parent, whether it's someone with a serious injury, whether it is a disability,
Mm.
whenever someone's needs just trump everything else in that moment, you get that immediate experience of like, okay, I need to refocus and focus on you and taking care of you.
Mm.
And I think when you're a sibling, that's our whole experience. That's our whole life. We developed through that. And one of my favorite phrases from one of my teachers is raised on range. you know, we were really, I think siblings of disability, especially in families where you grow up being exposed to this huge spectrum of experience that, you know, most people maybe not, they might not have that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's amazing. I think siblings with disabilities, you seek each other out. It's like, oh, you're my people. You
yeah,
understand what I'm going through. You understand what it's like, even though of course every sibling is different, every family is different.
yeah.
The deep,
Camaraderie.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all there. How was it to finish that? And do you think you would revive it or digitize it?
It works as special magic, I think, not only on the audience, but on the performer. And it changed me for good, like, and forever. You know, at the time before I wrote my show, kind of almost counter to your point that you just made, actually, I find that siblings don't often self-identify as siblings of disability, that it's anything special or anything of note. And
Mm,
they don't find each other because they don't do that. You know, we've grown up knowing, being so aware of our privileges to be able-bodied, and cognitively able and, you know, neurotypical, that, like, why would we identify as different, you know, because we're obviously not.
yeah.
But what my play, I think, touched on for other siblings and families, and also even for the sibling in me, like in myself, is there is something special and different. And I did some youth work in London, that was so profound. And so many of the siblings, it was with siblings, of disability, you know, they were younger, they were like 10 and 12, and, you know, just starting to really grow up and grow into their minds and their hearts. And to see the impact of them self-identifying and being like, I am different. Like, I come home and I take care of my sibling. I live with these huge responsibilities, these huge burdens.
Mm.
And we came up with this great exercise where I was like, you know, what's your superpower as a sibling of disability? And they loved that, because I think that is what it is. You know, you grow up as a superhero on some hand when you're a part of, a family of disability, because you have to do superhuman things. You have to learn, which is what my show is about. You have to learn how not to react when someone is trying to kick you in the face, all the time, like every day. You have to learn how to not react when your sibling is stealing your favorite food, you know, when
I
they're
hate that.
I know, when they're taking all the attention, you know. And for me, like, helping my sister go to the bathroom, or, you know, just keeping an eye out for her that she doesn't run into the street on a whim. You
Yeah,
know, just all these extra skills that most people just don't have, because they don't have to. They don't have that experience.
absolutely. And I think what's really shocked me in the UK is that, you know, as we see the economy, you know, recess, or I mean, I'm not an economist. I have no idea what the main words are. The economy go to shit. You know, that's what I understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what really shocks me is just like the local councils, and they've not been able to help support people who require carers. So a lot of what's been happening is that actually families are now like, well, we need help.
You
Yeah,
know, it can work for anyone to
no,
have the most vulnerable, uh, be barely able to survive, you know. And you look at a government system and the economics of it, you're like, it doesn't work. This is an out of balance ecosystem that's not going to survive,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and not going to be optimal. And so I'm also really heartened by the fact that coronavirus has made us really turn back to like hyper local efforts.
mm,
And so, you know, my mom's on the board of my sister's old school,
yeah, right,
that's called the Morgan Autism Center. And how they've been adapting is, you know, they had to shut down their schools, they had to shut down the day program, so all the kids had to go home to their families and lock down with them, shelter in place with them. And so the school was dropping off activity things, you know, like from the school, like devices or different activities, so that the families could use those tools. And so there are a lot of amazing efforts happening right now too. I don't want to be doomsday, because I don't think that's accurate. I think there's also amazing acts of service and kindness, and it's just really making sure those stay, making sure those really get implemented and secured.
And supported.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. My so with my sister's groups, she's part of this thing called the Up Club, and they do all of these activities. And the saddest thing when the lockdown happened was her just saying to me, you know, I miss my friends and I want to go out. And she's been in lockdown from the start as well. So now she's about 3 months in and has not left the house. But what the Up Club did, and what a few disability services did, was within 2 weeks they were online.
So I think it's finding the yes and, which is an improv phrase. It's finding the yes, this is hard. Yes, this is scary. Yes, this is crazy. And okay, it's not that bad. It could be worse. And I'm safe and healthy and have enough to live on and have shelter, and like my basic needs are met. So yes, I need to, cry into a pillow about my career right now. And I have skills that people need, and people need human connection right now. And they need people that are adaptable, that have all those soft skills that actors do, that we're trained in. I mean, I'm in an interesting position where I've been here for like 3 months, and I have the UK talent visa, and I've been trying to keep up my art while I'm here. But I mean, I have a visa to be a theater maker, and theater's in a coma. So I think it's really tough. Like you and I know from having sisters who have high needs, if we had just sat there and had time to grieve the fact that our sisters were different and that we can't relate to them like our friends or something else, that would have been awful. Like, I wouldn't have wanted that time to sit there and be sad about it. We didn't have time for that. You were just in the present as it was. And so we were able to appreciate it and know it. And I kind of feel like we need that right now. We need those reminders of just like, this is the reality. Like, don't miss it, be with it. It has good things to offer. It has hard things to offer, like every day. And if you are sitting there stuck in a spiral, which God knows, I go through every other day, sometimes it's like, break through that wall. Like, go talk to your neighbors, go observe, just walk around your neighborhood, observe what needs to be done, what needs to be taken care of. I think that's a beautiful way to bypass all of the mental health struggles that sometimes literally are just like a black hole. It's not going to help you to just try to find your way out. There is no way out sometimes. And so you have to just switch gears, like we do with our sisters, of just like, I can't go head to head with you on this because you will take me down. So I'm just going to play. We're just going to play. We're just going to totally not worry about the thing that you want, that you're going to freak out about. And we're just going to go look at that tree. I'm a big hippie. I'm out about my woo-woo-ness and my hippiness. And so, but I'm filling up my cup now with just family time, and just, when you live across the world, you don't get all these little moments, you just get the big Christmas event, which is full of other stuff. So I've loved being able to go on like walks with my mom and hikes with my dad, and being with my nieces and watching them grow up, and just
going back to like your creativity. So you said that you're being creative during this time.
Did I?
You did, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So have you been creative, or have you taken a break from that?
It's a good question. On the one hand, I think creativity is always present. And so, but no, I think the question you're after is, have I been productive?
Look, are you writing or not?
No, I'm not writing.
It's all we want to know. Yeah.
No, I'm in the camp of, I've been in survival mode. I've been filling up on family time. I've been taking good care of myself. I had a hard year last year with some mental health struggles. So I'm very aware of that vulnerability for myself. And that I'm, you can't be productive when you're not healthy in all the facets. So, and again, it was something that I saw a lot of conversation about on social media of like, use this time to be productive. Don't look back and regret that you missed the opportunity. And I even have that voice right now 3 months later. And I'm like, the entire point of the coronavirus policies and changes and lockdown was to stay healthy. It was not to be productive. That was a lovely bonus if that was an option for you, but it was literally to stay healthy. And so I've really taken that as a tenet of my focus. Creativity, especially when you write your own stuff and create something from nothing, like that's no small feat. Obviously, I will be writing for this, so that's a nice reason to write and reason to be focused and productive.
It's on really nicely to the exercise that you've created for emerging artists, for people who aren't artists, for just anyone who wants to listen to you and do this exercise. So do you want to tell me about what you're going to get me to do?
This will just be like a 2 to 3 minute kind of guided meditation. I've been studying meditation since college when I took a class on compassion, and so I'm really a big proponent of that type of work. And so I would love to lead you through an exercise to just help you ground and kind of find the balance within yourself. Kind of, it's that, how do we find stability in the instability? Okay, so make sure if you can, that if you're sitting up, that your feet are flat on the floor. If you're not, just making sure your legs are in a comfortable position. Okay. And just allowing your eyes to come to stillness and come to close if that's comfortable. And just taking a big inhale. And being really vocal about your exhale. Like the exhale you're not allowed to have. And just one more. In your nose, out your mouth. And if you can, just really turning up your awareness, being inward with your body. And so if you're feeling sensations on your legs or on your arms, on your skin, could be you have sensations in your belly, in your throat, in your chest, just really turning up your focus, and almost like a button on the stereo, just turning up the volume on what am I sensing? What am I experiencing? And every time you're taking an inhale, just allowing that new information to come, and then you release it on the exhale. And the legs hold a lot of power for us. They're a part of our body that supports us, literally grounds us, is our connection to gravity at a most direct level. And so if you can, feel into your feet, even if they're not on the floor. And again, using your breath to guide that awareness. So it's with the intention of the mind and the physical act of taking a breath, taking in that new energy, that new breath, that new oxygen. And moving upward into the trunk of our body that holds all of our vitality, really, checking in with your pelvis and that kind of, that root, that base of our body. Again, bringing an inhale there and releasing whatever's coming up. And if you're getting emotional, that's totally natural. Let it be, let it flow with your breath. Let it be okay. Give it permission to come out. That's what breath work is all about. It's about being present with what is. And moving up to the belly, and a place of such sensitiveness, such tenderness, such softness. And so just really checking in with those soft tissues and exhaling any kind of, if you have any sensations of darkness or heaviness or gray or muck or brown, just any of that, letting the exhale lighten, letting the exhale bring light and lightness. And moving up to your heart, which keeps everything running. We often forget. It's like nature, it's that pulse that is always there, always sustaining us. And just really like filling it up and letting it fill you as it does with the bloodstream. And moving up through your throat, a place of communication, a place between the head and the heart. A lot of energy there, especially as artists. Again, asking yourself with your breath, what do I need in this part of my body? And whatever is coming up, allow it to release. And moving up to your head, our heads that work so hard, that are our original computers, just bringing oxygen up there to all that abstractness and just bringing oxygen and exhaling. And then lastly, we're going to come to our arms and our hands, letting that release on an exhale. And as you've kind of gone through these different parts of your body, know that this practice of awareness is always here for you. This channel can be opened at any point. It can be turned up. It's like a radio. It's always on. It's your choice how much you want to listen to it, how high you want the volume to be. Just give back to the earth what you no longer want to carry with you and what is no longer serving you. And I don't know how this was for you, so really slowly bring your breath kind of to normal, whatever that may feel like, just, and in your own time, you can come to opening your eyes, and it might be that you want to write down anything that came up, any words or images or colors. How are you doing?
I'm so thankful for that. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor, and I love, it's such a passion of mine to do it. So thank you for the opportunity.
People whose families live abroad and we're often on Skype and stuff, the hardest bit is pressing that leave the conversation button. And then
You're trying to make me cry. Oh my God. It is, it's true. No, it's so, oh my God. Talk about the bubble bursting.
Yeah. And it's like, and all it is just you. And we have to be okay with that. So thank you so much, Christina, for just everything, all of your guidance, all of your insight, and for being so honest, and just a great conversation and that great exercise. And, you know, I'm so excited to see what you are. I'm so excited to see your monologue.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Me too. And just thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
I didn't expect it to feel like this. I didn't know what I thought it would be like, but I could have never imagined this. I feel so tender, so vulnerable, so fragile, hanging here in complete mystery, in utter surrender, with no support or protection, nowhere to hide. I feel groundless. I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. I feel lost and found at the same time, I do feel a sense of contentedness from the truth of what this is. I am no more. What I was is no longer here. I am. I don't know yet. I am not there yet. I am in between. There's a simplicity to this that's effortless. I've become mush, a soup of all my essential parts, a mess of my nutrients. I'm turning inside out. I'm eating myself up to spit myself back out. I'm deconstructing in order to synthesize. My pieces are coming apart to come together. I wonder, is it more painful to break down or to build up? To decompose or to grow? To release or renew? I'll find out, hopefully. At least I know I'm not the only one to go through this. There are millions of us experiencing this right now, in the same moment across the gardens of the world. Who are you when you are nothing material? What are you when you don't exist in any form? How are you when you are but nothing? This is so unnerving. This level of uncertainty. It's not even uncertainty, it's death. I'm dying in order to live, to be birthed into a butterfly. My caterpillar parts have to dissolve for my cells to be ignited to develop into the antennae, the wings, the feet that were always deep down inside me, just waiting for space, waiting for the right time. Isn't everything down to right timing? Why don't I trust what's natural? This is what I'm designed for. This is what was always going to happen to me, and yet I still wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready to let go. No one told me how hard this would be. No one warned me about the darkness, the silence, the endless intermission of my death. All they talked about is the resurrection, about how good it feels to fly, to glide, to swoop, to flutter as a beautiful butterfly. They didn't talk about the hell that it is to become one. They're all success and no struggle, destination with no journey. Maybe they've forgotten. Maybe there isn't a way of remembering this level of change once it takes place. Maybe the past can't exist in the present. What happens when you break and there's no fixing you? There's no going back to the way it was. That's not an option anymore. There's so much to look forward to after I metamorphosize. I could only see light and dark as a caterpillar. I'll be able to see color as a butterfly, shapes, speed, ultraviolet. I could only taste and smell danger before. I'll be able to taste the sweet nectar of flowers, so many flowers, and use my smell to find my mate. Loud noises startled me as a caterpillar. As a butterfly, I'll hear sounds through my wings. What joy it will to be born, to emerge as my new self, to no longer creep or crawl, but to be free to fly and to fall.